Good morning, everyone. Welcome back for another live exercise class on this wonderful Monday morning. Today's class is going to be just a little bit different than the last two have been. For today's exercise class, we're going to take the intensity down a notch a little bit. It's still going to be no equipment, just body weight exercises. But this time we're going to use a chair. You can also do this standing for the most part if you want to. But for me, I'll be showing you how to do these exercises in a chair. I've been getting some inquiries about if I can do some lighter intensity, more arthritis style exercises. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So again, everything can be done from a chair. We're going to stick with the same style. So we're going to be working for 30 seconds and then we're going to be resting for 30 seconds. So still that high intensity interval training style. So make sure you have some water with you. I hope you all got nice and warmed up before this. If not, just ease into it to start and you'll eventually get warmed up. Again, it's going to be 4 exercises, 3 rounds for each series of exercises. I have a stopwatch that I'll be going off of, so without further ado, let's get started with today's exercise. Okay, first of all, I'm going to explain the first exercise so I can hit start and quickly get back to my chair for the working exercise. So the first one is going to be a seated jack, so I'll just demonstrate to start what that might look like. So you're going to start arms down at your side, feet together, and it's just going to be a jumping jack in the chair. All right, pretty simple. That's going to be our first exercise, so let's get started here. All right, start those seated jacks. Again, we're going for 30 seconds, and you can take this at your own pace. So if you're looking for higher intensity, you can speed it up quite a bit. Or you could take it nice and slow. If you have any shoulder issues or issues on one side of your body, you can do just one arm. Tailor it to your specific needs. Good, and rest. Okay, our next one is going to be a side bend. Pretty much what it sounds like. We're just going to be bending to the side and coming back up. All right, so in 15 seconds, we'll start that exercise. Keep your torso nice and tall for this one, back straight. You don't want to lean forward with this one. You want to stay nice and tall. 5 seconds before we go. And here we go. We'll do 20 seconds for each side, or excuse me, 15 seconds for each side. And switch sides. So again, keep that torso nice and tall. It doesn't have to be a big bend. Just a nice, easy bend in the side. 5 seconds to go. And last one, good. Come back up. All right, we did this one in the first week. This next one, in our first week exercise, it's gonna be the row. So we're just gonna reach out, pull back, and squeeze those back muscles in 15 seconds. Again, during these 30-second breaks, it's a wonderful time to grab a drink of water. 5 seconds to go. And here we go. Reach out, pull back. Good. Keep that back nice and straight. I'm bending just a little bit forward in the hips. Nothing too crazy. We reach and pull back. Reach, pull back. 10 seconds to go. Reach, pull back. Good, and relax. All right, our last one for this first round is going to be ankle flexion. So we're going to start with our leg up, toes pointed to the ceiling, and we're just going to press those toes forward and pull them back. And again, we'll go 15 seconds with one leg, 15 with the other. So whichever leg you want to start with first, that's fine. 5 seconds before we get started. I'm going to start with my right leg first. Here we go. So press those toes forward. Just like you're pressing on a gas pedal or the brake. Good, let's switch sides. So bring the other foot up, press forward and pull back. Five seconds to go, you're doing a great job. And 1, good, bring that down, all right. You made it through round 1 of the first series. We have 2 more rounds of that to go. So again, grab some water if you need to. We have 15 seconds before we start with our seated jacks again. And 5 seconds. Start with our feet together, arms at our side, and here we go. Again, you want to keep your back nice and tall. Now you can do this one standing. So I mentioned that in the beginning of the video. You can certainly do some of these standing to ramp up the intensity. 10 more seconds. Two and 1, good, and relax. Nicely done. All right, side bend is next. If you have an object, sometimes I like to hold an object in my hand to do this one, like a ball or something. If you want to progress, you can add a little bit of weight. Just make sure you're keeping that back nice and tall and engaging the core the whole time. 5 seconds to go. And here we go. So again, 15 seconds each side. Use that breath. And switch sides. Five more seconds. 2 and 1. Good work. Awesome job. All right. Seated row is up next again. I like to hinge forward just a little on my hips, but keeping the back in a nice neutral position. 10 seconds before we get started. 5 seconds. I'll start hinging forward and we reach out, pull back. So really think about how you're engaging those back muscles as you reach and pull back. Ten more seconds. Reach and pull back. Pull back as far as you can. You want the biggest range of motion you can get. 2 and 1. Good. And come back straight up. So with any exercise, you want to get to the biggest range of motion you can, pain-free. So for our next ankle flexion exercise, you want to point those toes as far as you can and pull them back as far as you can. You'll work the muscle more this way. About 5 seconds till we go. 3, 2, 1. Press forward, pull back. You don't have to do this one very fast. Just controlled movements in the ankle. So what we're doing is lengthening and shortening the muscle. Switch feet, press and pull back. You might realize that one of your ankles is a little bit more flexible than the other. 3, 2, 1. That can be completely normal. Could be due to, injury history, things like that, with any body part really. Again, this is a great time to grab a drink of water, kind of recover. We have one more round of these 4 exercises, then we'll start the next series of exercises. So we're going back to our seated jacks. Starting sitting tall posture, 2 seconds, 1, here we go. We're halfway there. 10 more seconds. Three, 2, 1, good. All right, side bend for the last time today, coming up next. We have about 15 seconds before we get started. Again, try to control your breathing during this cool down portion. It'll help your heart rate to drop a little. 5 seconds. 2 and 1. You want to maximize that rest period. So when you're cooling down, you want to control your breathing. Take a drink of water if you need to. Switch sides. Because we want our heart rate to drop. And then as we're working, we want it to ramp back up again. 5 seconds. 1, good, and rest. It's a nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Good, we have our row coming up next for the last time. 10 seconds before we get started. So we'll take those hips, hinge forward just a little. 3 seconds, we reach out and go. Pull back and squeeze. Halfway there. About 5 seconds to go. And 1, good. And you can relax. Come back up nice and tall. Ankle flexion is next. Again, take this at your own pace. If you want to go even at an even higher intensity, please be my guest. You can certainly do most of these standing. Some at a higher intensity, some you'll want to take at a slower pace, like this next one with the ankle flexion. Can't really go too crazy. Get started here with this one. But just make the most out of each of these exercises. Switch sides. Press forward and pull it back. Five more seconds. And 1. Good. Bring that leg down. Great job. That was series number 1. Now we're going to jump into series 2. It's going to start with the simple bicep curl. So again, no weights are needed. If you have weights and you want to use them, I encourage you to do so. Add that extra resistance. 5 seconds before we get started. Sitting tall, elbows at our side. 2, 1, we curl up and down. Make sure you squeeze at the top here. Going through the range of motion like you would if you had a weight in your hand. Halfway there. 10 more seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and you can relax. Up next, we're gonna have the shoulder raised. So we're gonna raise them to the front, bring them down, raise them to the side, We're just gonna go back and forth like that. About 15 seconds before we get started. Grab some water if you need to. And 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So we raise our arms up and then to the side. Up and to the side. So just going back and forth. Bring the arms up and then out to the side. 10 more seconds. We want to go just to about shoulder height. No need to go any higher. 2 and 1. Good. And you can relax those arms. All right. Next up, this is a great one that you can take at your own pace, your own intensity. Is going to be knee lifts. Okay. First of all, I want you to engage your core the whole time you're doing this to protect the lower back. You can certainly go at a faster or slower rate. It's really up to you. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Engage that core and lift those legs up one at a time. Again, you can take it nice and slow, or you can really speed it up like you're marching. 10 more seconds. Keep that core engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Relax for a moment. Deep breath in and exhale. Last one is really going to be a great exercise with arthritis. We're just going to simply do wrist curls. So you're going to place your forearms on your leg and just curl those wrists up and down. So all the movement comes right from the wrist. 5 seconds before we get started. Let's prepare. 2 and 1. So we curl up and down. This one's great for those forearm muscles. Just gain some flexibility in the wrists. So you want to extend those wrists as far out as you can and then curl them up as high as you can with all the movement coming from the wrist joint. 5 seconds. 2 and 1. Great job. You can relax those wrists, roll them around a little if you need to. Open the palms up. Whatever's going to feel good after that one. All right, we're going back to the bicep curl next to start round 2. 10 seconds, excuse me, before we get going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're curling those hands up. Keep those elbows right at your side. A common mistake we see with this one is bringing the elbows forward. You just want to keep those elbows right at the side. All that work is coming from the biceps. 5 seconds to go. 2 and 1. Good. Finish it off. Relax those arms. Shoulder raise is coming up next. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. "15 seconds before we get started. Another one, if you have limited ability in one of your arms, you can do this just with one arm at a time. 3, 2, 1. We raise them up and to the side. So again, if you just have one arm that you can use, that is perfectly fine. If one of these directions of motion hurts your shoulders at all, just stick to one, the direction that doesn't hurt. So for example, if that's just straight in front of you, this is the natural movement of the body. So if this just feels fine for you, just do this one. Good, and relax. Going back to those knee lifts. Again, intensity here is important. If you want to speed it up, that's fantastic. or just keep it at a nice slow rate. You're still working those muscles. Sometimes the controlled movements actually work better than they work the muscles more than the faster movements. 2 and 1. Good. Bring those knees up. Keep that core nice and engaged. Seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. Good, relax. Awesome. Back to our wrist curls. Getting fantastic for arthritis in those wrist joints. It's a great one to work the muscles in the forearm here. It's great to strengthen those, especially for grip, things like that. 5 seconds before we go, so we'll get set up. Forearms on our legs, here we go. Curl those wrists up and extend back down. Curl up and down. You don't have to make a fist with this one if you don't want to, you certainly can. I just like to keep my palms kind of open. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. Good. You can roll those wrists around if you need to. If you watch the video, you can do the forearm bicep stretch. It's always a good one right here. Back to the top of the order for the bicep curl. For our last round of exercises, 10 seconds before we get started, sitting tall, arms at our side. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Curl those hands up and slowly extend back down. Halfway there. Get that squeeze at the top. Five seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good, relax. Shoulder raise coming up next for the last time. As always, whatever is pain-free and comfortable for you. I know quite a few people that have shoulder injuries that limit their abilities here, so do whatever feels comfortable and pain-free for you. 2 and 1. Bring those arms up straight in front and then out to the sides. Straight in front, out to the side. Halfway there. Again, just to about shoulder height. Keep that posture nice and tall. 5 seconds to go. And 1. Good. Bring those arms down and rest. Awesome. We're going back to our knee lifts. Really give it your all for this one. This is probably one of the tougher exercises of this whole workout. So make this one the best one yet. Let's start sitting tall, tall posture, core engaged. All the movements coming from the hips here. 3, 2, 1. Bring those knees up. Great job, halfway there. 10 more seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, relax. Great job, just wrist curls to finish off our exercise class today. Really get those forearms working. Great time to grab some water, take a nice deep breath, relax a little bit before we get started again. About 5 seconds to go. Let's prepare. 2 and 1. Curl up and extend down. Halfway there. Keep working just at the wrist joint here. Those forearms should be nice and still on your legs. 5 seconds to go. 2 and 1. Good. And you can relax those wrists. Give that forearm bicep stretch if you need it. Roll those wrists around. Good job. All right, I wanted to say thank you again for tuning into these workouts. You guys have been awesome with suggesting things and continuously tuning in and just letting us know how much you appreciate it. We appreciate that. As always, go over to the YouTube channel to check out all those videos. We have everything from balance to high intensity exercises. All of the Facebook Live videos are on there. So again, that's the Generations YouTube channel. If you have trouble finding it, if you type in Generations Silver Sneakers, a video of myself will pop up, and then you can get to the main page from there. So always go and check those out. Continue to stay active during this time. The weather's starting to get a little nicer, some sun. So get outside, go for a short walk, and just enjoy that sunshine. Thanks again for tuning in every day. Stop back again tomorrow at 10 for one of Tyler's tips. And I look forward to our next Monday workout. Take care, everyone.